House Republicans have big plans for the tax portion of their big, beautiful bill, but they need Democratic support to get it passed. Joining us right now is Ways and Means member Representative Brad Schneider. He's a Democrat from Illinois. And Congressman, do they actually need Democratic help on this? If they can keep their caucus together, they can pass it without you.
The Republican members, they need 218 to pass this. And we just finished a 17-hour plus hearing in our markup in the Ways and Means Committee, where the Republicans rejected every effort of the Democrats to try to craft a bill that would put the interest of American working families front and center, would make sure that we don't knock 14 million people off of health care, and we don't blow up the debt by $5 trillion over the next 9 years. But the Republicans want no collaboration. They're going to do it their way or no way.
Congressman, it reminds me of exactly what the Democrats have done when they're in power, too. If you don't have to reach across the aisle, why would you? It's how Obamacare got passed, too.
Yeah, no, that's the issue with reconciliation. The Democrats did it in 2010. The Republicans did it in 2017. Here we are 8 years later. And that's the challenge. The reason we are looking at the tax bill with the deadlines, artificial deadlines that were established in 2017, is because the Republicans insisted on having a partisan bill. When the parties work together, as you saw a generation ago with tax reform in the 1980s, you can actually, or 1990s, you can actually come up with good legislation that will stand the test of time. That's not what's happening here. I wish we did that. I introduced an amendment at the very end, which was more just a symbolic statement of let's go to the blank slate, let's put the tax bill on the table, let's work together, Republicans and Democrats, to put the interests of the American people front and center.
I mean, honestly, I think the answer is you have to win elections to do that. You didn't win enough to force them to have to deal with you.
Absolutely. We need to win the next election in 2026 for a lot of reasons, not just for responsible legislation, but to stop what's happening in the executive branch as President Trump is undermining the Constitution, ignoring the rule of law, and trying to break down the balance of power. But until
to try and save this from
fight.
just becoming a political discussion, let's talk a little bit about ideas that you might agree with some of the things that they've done. I would assume you agree with maybe the executive order on pharmaceutical pricing that the president has put out. Are there other issues within what the Democrats are doing in this tax, or what the Republicans are doing in this tax bill that you would agree with? Maybe not necessarily 100%, but are there areas that you think, okay, we could work together here?
There's absolutely areas we can work together. We talked about this in the markup. We can provide extension of the 2017 tax rates to 98% of Americans. No one over earning less than $400,000 a year would see an increase in their tax rate, and that would have a cost of $1.8 trillion. Instead, what the Republicans have done is loaded up a package that will cost more than $5 trillion. And they're borrowing to pay for that, borrowing from next generation to pay for tax cuts for billionaires like Elon Musk. That makes no sense. So there are things we can do. We can work to try to address the SALT cap. We can work to make sure that there's more affordable housing across the country. So many cities are facing a housing crisis. We can work to help people with the child tax credit. We can work to help companies with the R&D tax credit. There are things that we agree. The Ways and Means Committee passed legislation last year that passed the House and died in the Senate on housing, on child tax credit, on R&D. There are things that we can definitely work together if the Republicans are willing to open the door, sit at the table, and allow us to have those conversations.
Congressman Schneider, if the Republicans don't get this passed, then the tax cuts from 2017 will roll off and we'll revert back to where we were in 2016. Would that be preferable to you?
No, what would be preferable to me is what we were just talking about, to have the chance to sit down at the table, Republicans and Democrats, to look at the tax code, what makes sense, how do we create incentives for people to start small businesses, how do we help young families buy their first home and start saving for their future? How do we help families provide education to their kids and make sure that all Americans have quality, affordable health care? Those are the things that we should be talking about instead of the partisan approach that's being taken right now.
Like I said, elections have consequences.